I'm just going to ask you very quickly what you know about the speaking test.
It's three sections. The first one.
That's right.
The first one is small questions, discussion about daily life or personal. The second one is something. The examiner will ask you a question and you must answer for 2 minutes. And the third one, the third section is related to the second section.
That's correct, Bruno. Excellent. Well described. Okay. So today we're going to familiarize ourselves with the speaking test. We're going to do some exercises to improve the fluency and to highlight and emphasize the importance of synonyms, grammar, and all of these, all the criteria that are used by the examiner to grade your speaking. Towards the end, I'm going to give a few minutes to do some sampling. I'm going to just pick and choose as much as the time will allow it to do some sample tests, ask you some questions as if it's a mock test. Okay? Now, I think Bruno answered most of the questions. So how many parts? Yes, correct, Bruno, 3 parts. Do you know how long it lasts? Anybody other than Bruno? Ahmad, do you know how long the speaking will last?
No, I didn't know.
It's okay, don't worry about it. Sana or Shireen, anybody?
I think 15 minutes.
It's anything between 12 and maximum of 14 minutes. Okay, no more than 14 minutes. At the 14, we need to cut the speaking test. Okay. Now,
Okay.
Sana, what is the examiner looking for in Sana speaking? What are the elements?
I think he needs to see my fluency of
Excellent.
speaking and pronunciation.
Excellent. Yes. Anything else?
Grammar.
Is it grammar? That's correct. Grammar. When I say grammar, what do you mean exactly? In terms of what?
Am I able to form sentences using, correct format?
Excellent. The structure as well as the complexity of the structure. If you are able to mix between basic sentences, so for example, subject, verb, object. For example, I usually go to school on weekdays. Okay, so you use the simple basic structure, and then you've got the complex structures. So for example, you use clauses. While I usually go to school on weekdays, however, on weekdays I tend to do different activities. So you twist your structure around and you form a complex structure. So you need to use both as well. It's not just basic. You need to use some complexity as well. And in terms of grammar, whether you are using the right tense. So for example, if you are talking about a routine, a daily routine, which tense you should normally use? Was it Sana who answered? Sana, yes. Oh no, not Sana. I think it was someone else. Who can answer this question? So if you're talking about your daily routine.
Present. Simple present.
Absolutely. Simple present. I usually go. I usually do. I tend to, etc. Okay, so you use the present. If you're talking about something that happened in the past, you need to use the past simple or the past continuous or the past perfect, etc. Okay? Is accent important, do you think?
No, I don't think so.
Not at all. Not at all. Okay? Of course, if you happen to have a British accent or an Australian or a Scottish or an Irish, it doesn't matter, as long as the examiner on the other side is able to comprehend what you're saying. Okay? Which means that you don't have to come up with an artificial accent unless you have it by default. Okay? Do you think it's a formal interview or is it an informal interview? What do you think?
Informal.
Absolutely not. It's a totally formal interview. Okay, remember, this is a Cambridge examiner sitting across of you. He's testing your language and he's giving you an official grade. So that means it's a formal interview. Okay, so it's not like as if, well, it should have the feel as if you're talking to your friend. Okay, but the general ambience, it's a formal interview. Okay, now Bruno again divided the parts accurately, but let's go more in depth in terms of what each part entails. Okay, let me see people here. 1 second. People are still coming in. No. Okay, so part 1, personal topics. Hello Makram, hello Sari, hello Noor. Okay, all of the newcomers. Hala. Hello Hala.
Yes, hello. Yeah.
How are you, Hala? Okay, Hala. So when I say personal topics, what are the topics that you could be asked about?
Maybe daily habits, or maybe hobbies, or what I'm doing in my life, something like that. Something is related with my life. And
everything that is related to you, personal topics, but not too personal. Okay, so your studies, your academic qualifications, your family, your house, your hobbies, as you said, for example, about your actual house, how does it look like from the inside, television programs that you might be seeing, stuff like that. Okay, so this is the first part, and usually it takes between 4 to 5 minutes maximum. Okay, now part 2. I don't know if Sari is willing to answer. Hello, Sari.
Hello, how are you?
How are you, Sari? I'm good, thank you. Okay, Sari, I don't know if you're new to Ielts or you've sat for the Ielts before, but do you have an idea what part 2 might look like? Or what is it about?
I don't understand exactly what he meaning in the picture, because I'm first time I take the interview like that.
Okay. So you're new to Ielts. That's fine. That's what you are here for. Okay. So pay attention and see what the speaking test is about. Okay. Shireen. Okay. Thank you. Sorry. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think you'll need to speak on a certain topic that, a generic topic, not something related to your own personal life.
Do you get to choose the topic, Shireen? Do you get a choice?
No, I think he will give it or she will give it to you.
Absolutely. You'll be given a certain topic. You don't have a say in it. Okay? It could be about something you've done, something you ate, something you experienced. So it could be, for example, a visit to a museum. It could be a trip to the beach. It could be a gift you bought or a gift you received or an animal that you encountered. So a topic, okay, where you need to build a scenario around it and talk about it. Okay, Shireen, do you get to prepare for this part?
I think you get 1 minute to prepare.
Absolutely correct. Yes, absolutely correct. So you get a pen and a paper. Okay, you get 1 minute to jot down any notes or any ideas, or just to build your scenario. Okay, and then when the minute is up, the examiner will tell you that your minute is up, and then you need to speak for 2 minutes non-stop. Okay, now my tip for you here is you need to keep talking until you are stopped. So let me remind you of something. You are sitting there in the room, the examiner is sitting across of you, okay? You don't have a watch. There is no clock on the walls. No clocks are allowed to be displayed, okay? So you have no notion of time. You don't know whether you have been talking for 1 minute or 10 minutes, let alone, okay? So your only indication that your 2 minutes are up is actually the examiner himself or herself, okay? She or he will tell you, okay, your 2 minutes are up. So what you need to do is, between the examiner saying, you go until the examiner says stop, these are your 2 minutes. So what you need to do is keep talking and filling all the 2 minutes with the story. You can build on your story. If you find that, okay, I've said everything I prepared about, you know, I've talked about, for example, my trip. I was with my friends. We stopped for breakfast. We went sightseeing, and then you run out of things, and then the examiner is sitting there looking at you. Okay? Oh, I forgot to tell you. Actually, after having breakfast, while we were just getting on the way to Baalbek, for example, there was something, okay? And then you come up with a little story on the side to go in parallel with your journey to, I don't know, a famous place or whatever. Okay? Now,
I
yes,
have a question actually
Go on.
about the tense. So can I choose that if I want to talk about something that happened or something that I'm
the
planning?
tense, absolutely. The tense is in the given. So the topic is written in a way you would be able to figure whether you are talking about something that happened in the past or something in the future. But 90% of the time, it's about something that happened in the past. Okay? Most of the time, it's something that you've encountered or that happened to you or something that you did or, I don't know, something you ate or a party you went to or something like that. Does that answer your question, Shireen?
No, this was Hala's questions.
Oh, sorry, Hala. So Hala, you will read in the given, okay? Talk about a journey you went on that you enjoyed. So went and enjoyed. So this is definitely the past. So you need to use the past to talk about what happened. Okay?
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
Okay, who has a question? Yes, sure, go ahead, please. Everybody will benefit from your questions, guys.
Yeah, so for instance, let's say, do I lose mark if the time is up and there is an unfinished thought, maybe I couldn't continue speaking, and
Okay,
it's hanging, do I lose point?
Very good question, Shireen. So if that thought you're talking about, or the idea, the unfinished idea is in the bullet points, so what you get is a question. So talk about a journey you went on or a trip you went on that you enjoyed. Okay, so you will get you will see, we will see samples in a minute. So you get 4 bullet points. Where did you go? With who? Why? For example, why did you enjoy it and what happened? Okay, so for example, Shireen, you talked about where and with who and why you enjoyed it, and while you were talking about, for example, what happened, so you talked about that you enjoyed the sightseeing, you went in the boat in the lake, etc., and then your 2 minutes are up. Then that's fine, because you've covered 90% of the bullet points. Okay, we will do a sample, Shireen, and you will see what I'm talking about. Okay,
Thank you. Okay,
you are most welcome. Now, yes, who has a question? Go on.
Me. Can we ask the examiner if we can see the watch, the timer?
Not at all. No. You're not allowed at all.
Okay. Another question.
This is part of the skill that you are testing. That you are about to talk for 2 minutes without having any notion about time.
Okay. Another question. If the examiner asked us about something that we are not familiar with, can we ask them to change the subject? No.
Okay. No. But what you can do is, for example, let's say, for example, I'm giving an example, a trip to the museum, or trip to a museum, okay? I'm giving an example from the top of my head, okay? And Bruno is not familiar with the word museum. What is this museum? And you panic, okay? Then here, what you can do is, excuse me, can you elaborate on the word museum? Okay, and here the examiner will explain what museum is about, okay? So it's a place where you go and see artifacts, where you see historical statues or monuments, etc. Okay, and here you are able to know, okay, it's the museum where you can go and see all the historical and the war artifacts, etc. Does that answer your question, Bruno?
I faced something similar last time. The examiner asked me a question, but I didn't understand it. So when I asked him back if he can explain what he means, he didn't reply. He said, and then he asked me another question.
Okay, hang on a second. Was this in part 2? Because he's not allowed. In part 2,
no.
Examiners must clarify the keywords if the candidates ask for it.
It was in part 1, I think. I didn't understand what he means in the sentence.
Okay, in part 1, we're not allowed to elaborate too much, but in part 2, we must elaborate, and also in part 3, okay? Because we consider that part 3 is something that is closer to the candidates, easier and tangible more, okay? So don't worry about that, okay? But in part 2, if there's a word, the keyword is incomprehensible to you, you can always ask for clarification or a synonym or elaboration, etc. Okay? Let's not dwindle here because I need to do some sample. Now, after the 2 minutes are up, guys, you will have a very short question. It's what we call follow-up question. Okay, it's with regard to the topic. So, for example, I gave Hala the topic about going on a journey, which she has enjoyed. Okay, and then, for example, a follow-up question about this topic would be, for example, do you usually enjoy going on short trips? Okay, and then you can either say yes, I do. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. So your answer is short here. Okay. Now here we go into part 3. Okay, so part 2 is usually between 2 to 3 minutes between preparation and talking, etc., etc. And then we go into part 3. Part 3, it's a two-way discussion between the candidate and the examiner. However, it's with regards to the topic in part 2. So for example, if we talked about journeys, a journey to a famous place or a nice place or a place where you enjoyed your trip, okay, part 3 would be about journeys in general. Car journeys, plane journeys, travel in general, etc., etc. Okay? Now here in this part, okay, remember guys, this is an abstract part. So this is not about you. This is not about whether you enjoy traveling in general. It's about the world enjoying traveling, okay? It's about other people or the effect of travel on the environment, not the effect of travel on your or on you or on your personal, for example, I don't know, how you feel about traveling yourself. Okay, we will see some topics in a minute. Now, do you know what happens in the beginning? Let me show you what happens in the beginning, guys, okay? 1 second. Okay. Okay, guys. Now, I know most of you have sat for the test before and they are familiar with what happens when you guys enter the room and the candidate is there and the examiner is there, okay? But for example, for Sari and other people who are new to Ielts, I'd like them to be familiar with what happens when they enter the room, okay? So here are some of the things that happen when the test is about to start, but they're not in order, okay? So I'm gonna give you a few seconds to read. Hang on, let me make the font a little bit bigger. Okay, guys? And I'd like you to arrange them, okay, in a linear order, in the order that they happen as you go into the room. Okay, so shout out for the first one. Which one happens first, guys?
Introduces himself.
Absolutely. Hi, my name is blah, 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 and the examiner introduces. What happens next? Shireen. Go on, Shireen.
He asked for the full name.
That's right. My name. So the examiner introduces themselves, okay, and then they ask for the candidate's name, okay. Shireen, there's a lot of noise coming from your end.
No, this is not me.
Who's that? Sorry. Okay. Okay, guys, can you mute? Okay. One second. Okay. Okay, guys. So first, examiner introduces himself or herself. Then they ask for the test taker's name, and then what happens afterwards?
Check the ID.
Before they check that, that's it. They ask for the ID, then they check the ID, and then what happens?
From where he's coming.
Absolutely. Can you tell me where you're from? Okay, and you can say, for example, Jordan, Lebanon, Beirut, whatever. Okay, and then what happens next?
Ask the first question.
Part one, the last one.
No, before they start asking, before they actually ask the question, the examiner will introduce the part. So they will say, for example, in part one, I'd like to ask you some questions about yourself, okay? And then they will always give a title to the topic. Let's talk about, and they will say, for example, about your hobbies, about your studies, about your family, about your house. So you always put in the atmosphere or in the ambience of the topic, okay? So you're always on guard. Okay, guys? Excellent, very good. Now, what kind of problems do you think you might encounter in part one?
Maybe your train of thoughts would stop suddenly, even if you're fluent.
Excellent, very good. Why would they stop though? Because of what?
Maybe because you're nervous or confused.
Absolutely, you're nervous. This is an official test. Okay, excellent. Anything else? So Bruno, for example, talked about another problem earlier. About not understanding a specific word or specific term, etc. So that could be another problem. Anything else?
Maybe the environment. You're not sitting.
What do you mean?
For example, when I took my test, the environment as the place, the sitting wasn't comfortable. So I began
this is a rarity. Usually, British Council makes sure that the candidates are comfortable, that the light is correct, the temperature is correct, everything is, made comfortable. Unless it was a dire straits or an unusual situation you were in, but in general, this is not an issue. Okay, guys. So I think Hala, if I can remember, she talked about nervousness, and this will lead to giving either too short answers, okay, or over long answers. Okay, so because you're nervous, you start talking. Okay, so you need to find a balance in between too short and too long. Okay, guys? This is in part one. Now, what can we do to tackle this problem, guys?
I think preparation, maybe.
Preparation in terms of what? Beforehand?
Predict the kind of question
like at home?
Yes, the kind of question that you asked, maybe.
You can do, but on the other hand, you don't want to come across as a pre-rehearsed candidate. Okay, you want to come out natural. Remember, This is the skill that we are testing. Okay, are you able to answer a question that's been thrown at you randomly with the ability to answer it correctly, fluently, and on point? So you don't want to rehearse too much or too many topics. You would come across as a bit of an artificial answer. Okay, but I will give you some tips here. Okay, so for example, the interviewer will ask, where do you come from? Okay, Shireen.
I'm from Jordan.
Okay, this is too short.
Okay.
Add a little bit. Build on it.
I'm from Jordan. I live in the capital, Amman. Maybe.
Thank you very much. And that's enough. Okay? So you don't want to go too short and you don't want to go over long. Okay? For example, Hala.
Yes.
What do you do in your spare time or your free time? Try and give me a short answer first and then you can build on it.
Actually, taking photo or playing violin.
Okay, remember, what do you like to do in your spare time? Usually I like to, and then you use the present tense. So repeat your answer, Hala.
Okay, so I like to play music or to take some photos.
Okay, now I'd like you to build a little bit on this answer. Keep it, but build on it. You can add another hobby, or you can just explain what kind of music or what kind of instruments, etc.
So I like to play classical music on my violin. Also, sometimes taking photos by my camera.
Excellent, and there you go. Okay, that's long enough and not too short. All right. Now, I don't know. Who is that? Hang on, let me see.
Sorry, about my book.
Sari, go on. Okay, Sari, where do you like to go for your holidays?
Holidays, I like to go to Dubai because there is my family, wife, and my 2 children, and there is some beautiful view.
Thank you very much, Sari. That's long enough. Excellent. Sari, one more time. What is your job?
I work before from 2010 for an insurance company, and I started from sales, and I go to up until project manager in this in the old company. But now I don't have the work.
Thank you, Sari. That's overlong. Okay, but very good answer. Pay attention to your tenses. Okay, I started. Okay, so pay attention to the past. If you're talking about something that happened to you in the past, use the past simple. Okay, if you can't go into complex structure, stick to the simple. Past simple, present simple, future simple. Okay, stay simple. It doesn't matter as long as you use the right tense. Okay, try not to complicate your language. Just keep to the simple tenses. I started. Okay, I did. Okay, I got promoted. Okay, guys?
Yes.
Okay, who'd like to have a go? Sana.
Yes.
Sana? What do you like most about your job?
I like more. Okay. I love my colleagues and my place.
Okay, so that's a short answer. Hang on, Sana. So this is the short answer. Now, take this answer and build on it. So you like your colleagues because, and you like the place because. Build on it. Okay, go on.
My colleagues because they are friendly, and my place because it's. Just a minute. I need to reply. I like my colleagues because they are friendly, and my place because it's quiet and clean.
Excellent.
قولي لي
Very
مامي
good.
انت
What do you mean, your
شايفتيني شو عم بعمل؟
workplace?
ولو مانك شايفتيني شو عم بعمل؟
Okay, your workplace. Okay, so try and use the correct synonyms or the correct terms for what you want to deliver. Okay, guys, when you say workplace, obviously it's better than saying the place itself. Okay, excellent, Sana. Well done. Okay, now let's see. Okay, just a second, guys.
كلم امي.
Okay, guys, I'm going to share with you, okay, guys, the speaking criteria.
ما تمشي.
And what I mean by speaking criteria is what the examiners use to grade your language. Okay, there are 4 criteria. Okay, so I think it was Hala or Sana said fluency and grammar.
Yes, me.
Okay, so we've talked about fluency, we've talked about grammar, but there are 2 other points that are taken into consideration, which are lexical resource. Can anybody tell me what a lexical resource is?
Maybe your vocabulary repertoire.
Excellent. That's your vocab, okay? Your vocab and pronunciation. Despite the fact that we talked about accent not being important, however, pronunciation is, okay? What do we mean by pronunciation? I'm going to give you a few seconds to read what is fluency and coherence. Okay, we've talked about fluency. Fluency is how long you are able to produce a language, okay? A piece of language. However, does it make sense? Are they all connected? Or are you talking in small sentences like pop, pop, pop? What I like about my job is my colleagues. They are friendly. I also like the place. So you're not connecting your speech. So you need to connect your speech, okay? So for example, this is, for example, not a good answer, the one I just said. If you want to make it better, you want to connect your speech. Actually, what I like about my work or my job is the fact that my colleagues are really friendly and that my workplace is very comfortable and very clean. Oh, very clean. So you're emphasizing the fact that it's very clean, okay? Whereas the first one I talked, the first manner I talked in, it was sort of detached, okay? So this examiners look at, okay? Now I'm gonna give you a few seconds we've talked about grammatical range and accuracy. Lexical resource, again, an example of this, Sana's answer, she said place and I said workplace. So obviously workplace is better because it conveys the workplace environment or the company she works in. Okay? So these are the 4 items that the examiner look at when they are listening to you. So you are graded individually on these, and then the whole grade is put together. Okay? Do you have any questions, guys? So for example, this is quite important. Okay? Obviously, some of you are Jordanians, maybe Lebanese, maybe Syrian, I'm not sure. Okay, so is your language, are you able to, are you, for example, using some of your mother tongue? So for example, some people say yani, لأنه, and then they keep talking in English. So that means your first language is influencing your English. So we pay attention to these. It's fine if you slip, okay? A slip of the tongue is fine, but is it overall influencing the whole delivery or not, okay? So these are, you can take a photo if you want, guys. All right? Do you have any questions?
No.
Okay, excellent. Now, what I'm going to show you next are the skills required. Self-confidence. Are you nervous? Oh, guys, 1 minute and we'll come back, okay? Come back to the same meeting. All right, guys, everyone, please don't skip the remaining part because it's quite interesting. Okay, so these are the skills. Self-confidence. Okay, obviously a bit of nervousness is a bit natural, but are you over nervous? Okay, are you stuttering? Are you, I don't know, like really shaking? Get grip on your nerves, guys, okay? Spoken coherence, are you making sense? Are you staying on topic, or are you just steering away from the topic? Okay, are you able to produce ideas? And by ideas, I mean arguments. Okay, especially in part 3, where we're talking about abstract things. Okay, the ability to approach a question from different angles. So you're giving your okay. Let's see. Okay, is everybody here? Okay, let's go back to where is it? It's here. Okay, so again, as I was saying, are you able to approach the question from different angles? Are you able to give your opinion and other people's opinion? So for example, if you are asked about what could be done to help the environment, okay? So for example, you can talk about what you would like to happen in order to help the environment, for example, use of electric cars, etc. And at the same time, you can sort of talk about different organization or international efforts that are being put to help the environment. Okay, logical organization. So are you able to organize your ideas? Are you going from the most prominent idea to the least prominent, or vice versa? Are you talking about, for example, little futile ideas and then you're leaving the main idea till the end? So that also counts. Presentation given, don't worry about this one. This is about part 2, where you're sort of talking and you're delivering your scenario in a presentation way. Okay. Now let me show you, to finish part 1 very quickly. These are some of the topics that you could encounter. Okay, and many, many more. Okay, so you can have a look. Anything with this regard, and hundreds more, guys. Okay, but to this nuance. Okay. Okay. Now we're going to move into part 2, guys. I'm going to show you very briefly what happens. Okay, I'm gonna give you a few seconds to read. So you'll get the topic, as I said, and the prompts. The prompts are displayed in bullet points, usually anywhere between 3 and 4 bullet points, okay? Then you will have 1 minute to prepare. Remember, you don't have to bring your own pencil or your own paper. You're not allowed in any case, so you'll be provided with a pen and a paper, okay? You just have 1 minute. What could you prepare for? Basma. Hello, Basma. No? Okay, Shireen, anybody would like to answer? What could you possibly prepare for in the 1 minute given?
Maybe just write down some quick keywords to remember while you're speaking.
Excellent tip, excellent tip. Anything else?
Also the timeline or the sequence that I will talk about this experience.
Excellent. You organize your ideas. Perfect tip. Excellent. Okay. Okay, so here you have to talk. So Shireen, this answer your question. You need to spend 2 whole minutes and you must include all of the bulleted points, okay? Now, if you are short on the last bullet point, then that's fine. But at least you've covered some of it, okay?
Okay.
Excellent. Now, I'm going to show you or give you a nice tool to enable you to talk for the more than 1 minute, or let's say for the full 2 minutes, okay? Just give me a second. Okay, sorry, because I've got different documents open, different places, so I'm trying to figure out where everything is. Okay, now, let's consider this particular topic. This is part 2, guys, remember? Okay, so I'd like to ask one of you about an important possession. Okay, so for example, ask Bruno about an important possession that he has and he values. Okay, Bruno looks at the topic, at the booklet, and he thinks, possession? What is a possession? I don't know this word.
My MacBook.
Yes, but I'm giving a hypothesis, okay?
Yeah.
So you don't know the word possession.
Okay.
But you have to speak about it. What do you do in this case, Bruno? You never came across this word in your life. You don't know what it is, okay? And then panic strikes, okay? What should I do?
You said that we can ask the examiner for clarification.
Absolutely, on the spot, okay? Excuse me, can you please elaborate? Or can you please explain? Or please can you give me a synonym or give me another word for possession? Okay, now ask me, Bruno. Ask me the question.
Can I have more? Can you clarify, please, the question?
Okay, so Bruno, I'd like you to talk about something you own, you possess, that you like a lot. Is it clear?
Yeah.
There you go. Okay, it's my duty to clarify the keyword in part 2. Okay, guys? So how do I go about it? So I have 1 minute, okay, and I've got these bullet points. Okay, I need to, what does it look like? For example, how long did you have it for? Why is it important? And where do you keep it? Okay, now if you look into the spidergram, you will see that there are many questions here. Whereas in the actual test, you will only get 4 prompts. Okay, now the reason behind this exercise is the fact that you can add questions that are relevant or add, for example, features that are relevant to this particular item, whereby this will elongate, okay, will just make your speech a bit longer. Okay, so now What I'm going to show you next is the most important tip that you could use, okay? And it's this. It's what we call the WH questions, okay? Can you all tell me what are the WH questions? Shout out, please. Each one shout out a WH question.
What, where, when,
How, why, with whom, how long for, and many, many, many more, okay? Remember, again, you will get 4 prompts, but what you can do is add more questions, more WH question to this particular item to sort of magnify your speed. Okay, guys, now, what I'm going to do you all have a pen and paper next to you? Grab a pen and a paper very quickly. I'm gonna put a minute on the clock, okay? And I'd like you all to brainstorm ideas about an important place that you visited, regardless if you liked it or not. Go. Okay, guys, your minute is up. Now, let me
Can I?
hang on. Okay, now what I would like you to do, each one, I'd like you each to answer a WH question. Okay, Bruno, start. When?
Last summer.
Thank you. Ahmad. Nada.
last month,
Where? Where is the important place?
it's Gibran Khalil Gibran Museum in Pshadir,
Thank you.
North
Thank you.
Lebanon.
Thank you, Nada. Sari. Sari?
Yeah, I don't understand what you meaning because my internet is cut.
I'm sorry, Sari. It's okay. Just keep listening and then you can ask questions at the end. Sana?
I went with my friend.
Excellent. Very good. No.
It's the biggest aquarium in the Middle East.
Excellent. Very good answer, Noor. Leia? What did you do?
What did you? I went to the beach.
Okay, what did you do? Apart from while at the beach, what activities did you do?
I made scuba diving.
Excellent. Very good. Who else? Basma, are you willing to answer? Shireen? How did you get there? Hang on. How did you get there?
By plane.
Excellent. Very good. Who else? Hala?
Yes.
Who with?
With my sister.
Excellent. Very good. Excellent. Okay. So, hang on, guys. Let me just make this smaller. Okay. So, the whole purpose of this exercise is that usually you will get 4 items, okay? But you can always add more. So for example, you've talked about the fact that you went to Gibran Khalil Gibran, for example, museum in Psharin, okay? You went with your sister, you went by plane, okay? What did you do, for example? Or you went to the beach, for example, and you did scuba diving. So you answered all of these 4, okay? This is where all the other items come in handy for you to keep talking. Why was this place important, okay? And then you say, for example, because this was your first holiday in many years, and you had great fun, you enjoyed the weather, you enjoyed the place, etc. Okay, so that's one item you used extra on top of the bullet point that you were given. How often? Actually, because I enjoyed my trip there, I intend to go there next year with a group of friends to enjoy it more, and we'll probably stay overnight at a nearby hotel. Okay? What you can also use is, what is it like? You describe the appearance of the museum or the beach or the aquarium or whatever. There was a variety of fish. There was a white whale. There was a big shark. There was little fish, big fish. There were, I don't know, you just imagine things, okay? Now, a great tip for part 2, guys. Please make things up. Use your imagination. If you get stuck on a particular item, so for example, you can't for the life of you, because you're so nervous, you're so anxious, you're so tired, you just can't think of an important place that you could talk about for 2 minutes, make it up. Went to Paris, to Rayful, and you've never been, but who cares? Do I care? Does the examiner care? We don't care, as long as you talk for 2 minutes. Make it up, use your imagination, okay? Or for example, what I usually tell my students to do is take a place, okay? Maybe a real place that you really went to, okay? Take it, okay? Use it. Let's say, for example, Gibran Khalil Gibran's museum. Okay, so you actually physically went to this museum, but you just can't remember much. It was 15 years ago, okay? Or because you're under stress, you just can't remember things. I put Gibran Khalil Gibran on my paper, a museum, okay? And I start making things up. I went on a trip with a group of friends. We took the bus from Beirut. We took the plane from Jordan. Make it up. Who cares, okay? All the examiner cares about is the language delivered, not really the content as such, okay? Do you have any question, guys?
Okay, now your meaning in this bag, how to use the WH question?
Excellent. Yes, sorry. How to add and build on your answer in order to make it 2 minutes long. Otherwise, if you cut short, you're going to lose points. You're going to lose marks. The whole point of this part is to test your fluency and your coherence. Okay? Remember, guys.
I'm understanding.
Excellent, sorry. Excellent. Okay, guys, let me tell you another tip. In part 1, okay, and in part 3, usually your answers will be between 20 to 30 seconds, sometimes 35 seconds, okay? So all of your answers in part 1 and part 3 are usually short and concise. Now, part 3 may be a bit longer than 20 seconds, but in part 1, most of the questions will require you to give a 20-second or 25 seconds answer, okay? What are your hobbies? Okay, my hobbies are playing the violin and listening to music. These are 10 seconds only, okay? So a maximum of 20 seconds, and in part 3, anywhere between 35 seconds and 40 seconds. The only time where the examiner can suss out your language, your fluency, is during those 2 minutes, okay? So shine during those 2 minutes to give the examiner the language they need in order to mark your fluency. Keep talking non-stop. Okay, guys, do you have any questions, guys? I'm sorry, I'm rushing through because I was only given 60 minutes, okay? But From Monday, I've been doing more than 1 hour because I'd like to deliver all the course in its fullest. Okay, guys? If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Okay?
We have on Monday as well.
No, I said as of Monday.
Okay.
From Monday, I was only allocated a 60-minute session, but I added extra minutes because I wanted to deliver the whole thing, not just part of it. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
You are most welcome. Now, guys, what I'd like to do is I'm gonna choose randomly. I would love, guys, I would love to choose all of you, but honestly, I just can't because
شو ما
of the
طلع عند
lack of
الموفي
time.
بس
I'm gonna
أخذت
choose
بداله
random. Okay?
شو ما طلع عند
And we're going
الموفي
to do
بس
a
أخذت
mock test.
بداله
You
فايلين.
guys listen. What you can do is also take the minute to prepare your scenario. Okay? But I'm afraid only one person can do this. But we can do another mock in part 3. Okay? Now, what I'm going to choose randomly. I'm going to choose no.
I'm trying إنه شهل قد ما فيني كرمال الويك أند تكون فري.
Yes.
Thinking about you to boost my energy. Thinking about what I will do to you when I first see you.
You're not being put on the spot, or you're not in the real deal. You're just here to practice and to give to help others, the other candidates who are present, to show them how we could do this and what sort of comments I could give you. Okay? Now, I'm going to give you a minute to prepare this topic. Remember your WH questions. So what kind of WH questions you have? What it was. So the event, what was it? Okay. What role you played? Were you a player? Were you the goalkeeper? Were you, I don't know, maybe you were judging the game? I don't know. Okay? What happened? So the series of events during the sporting event, okay? And whether you enjoyed it or not, and why you enjoyed it.
هيدا translation تبع I wanna go down on you.
In the back of your head, you've got the other ones. When, where, with whom. Okay, so all of these could just channel down into this. So technically you must answer all these 4, but you can add later on when you see that time hasn't finished yet and you still have time, you could just introduce the other WH questions. Okay? Does that make sense? 1 minute on the clock. Guys, feel free to prepare with no.
What's going on here? What? These are tight.
This man was planning a prison break when the staff distributed daily necessities. He stole toothpaste. After returning to his cell, he squeezed the toothpaste on a plate, added some Johnson's baby powder, and then mixed them by a pencil. He kneaded the mixture with his hands. Finally, he successfully created grout made from Johnson's baby powder and toothpaste. He applied grout on the wall and found it to be very effective, but the color was still not perfect. During their daily leisure time, prisoners often...
I think he's lying. Is that a grant? New card. What do you think? Oh, very nice. Look at that. Picked them up from the printers yesterday. Good coloring. That's boom. And the lettering is something called Cillian Braille. It's very cool, baby, but that's nothing.
Okay, no, your minute is up. You can start talking now, please.
Eggshell.
Okay. 2 years ago, I was assigned to be the organizer of a running marathon at school. The date was fixed in April. I chose the place. I chose the Rausche Corniche to be the place where the marathon will be. The participants were from grade 4, 5, and 6, and
You're sweating.
it was a good event. I enjoyed organizing it, and I will definitely be.
Just give me all the bacon and eggs.
I will definitely be for the next year.
Give me a lot of bacon and eggs. What I said was, give me all.
I think
the bacon
it's
and
all
eggs
the ideas I got.
Do you understand?
More.
This isn't a steak. Why would you call it that on your menu?
What happened? The students were very happy to be in this marathon.
أول موقف محرج راح نشوفه سوا بالفيديو. آسف لهذا التعبير الصريح.
Okay, thank you.
I think I need more time.
You don't need more. You don't get more time.
Yes.
It's only 1 minute to prepare. That's all you get.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So you prepare. You actually have 1 minute to prepare for the 2 minutes talk. Okay. Now, in general, it's good. Okay. You've covered all 4 points. Okay. But that's enough to give you a full grade. Okay. Now, you have good vocab. You have good vocab, Noah, okay? But you need to connect your speech.
More the ideas, yes.
You connect your ideas. And how can one connect their ideas? By using what?
Everyone, let's get started.
Hello. Sorry.
The connector, like
Excellent.
for
We
the
call them
time.
cohesives. Yes, we call them cohesives. To connect, to collate. However, also, moreover, on the other hand, but also things like that. Okay, these are called they are connectors, but also it's like things you say to for example to emphasize your speech. Actually, the marathon was a success. Okay, so remember, you are talking for 2 minutes. I'm also paying attention to your pronunciation. Okay, so you were sort of flat. Okay, you went up a little bit and down, but your intonation lacked. Okay, so pay attention to your tenses as well. You said choose, whereas you had to say chose, because the whole thing happened in the past. So you used the past tense and then you switched to the present, okay? So you need to pay attention there. But your vocab is good. Your vocab was really good. You used many lexical resource. Also pay attention to your pauses. Instead of pausing and saying use a connector, okay? Use something to sort of fill in the voids. Also, what happened was, so you are saying, but you are thinking as well. What happened was, is that the 5-year-old or 6-year-old had to run from Raushe all the way to, I don't know, to Hamra, for example, whereas the 6-year-old, so make things up, make it up, build on it, okay? But well done, Noah. That was a very good attempt.
Okay, thank you.
Guys, do you have any questions?
No, thank you.
Okay, perfect.
No, thanks.
Okay, now I'm gonna move very quickly to part 3. Okay. Also, I forgot to mention, when you start your part 2, make sure that you introduce the topic. I'd like to tell you about this particular sporting event or a marathon that took place about 6 years ago in 2000, I think, in whatever. Okay, and blah 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 blah, and you start telling your story about that. Okay. So it's always better to introduce the topic in part 2. Or for example, I'd like to tell you about this party I went to a couple of years back. I think it was in summer 2019, prior to the pandemic. I think it was summertime, particularly or specifically in August. So you're building, you've got your notes, but you're also adding, the date, you're adding the weekend, you're adding, etc. Okay, so specifics.
I'm trying to catch my
okay.
breath. I walked 50 feet, so it's my house.
Now,
is really good.
When we go into part 3, as I said earlier, this is totally not about you. Okay, this is about your opinion about things, but it's not about your personal experience within that matter. Okay, let me give you an example. Hang on. Okay, so guys, these are some of the useful language that you could use when you are expressing yourself in part 3. Okay, remember, it's an abstract, it's a general idea or general topic, things that are happening in the world, about the pandemic, about the environment, about people, about people's behavior, about people's mentality, so things like that. Okay, so what the examiner is looking for is your ability to give your opinion on such matters, okay, without talking about your personal experiences. Now, what you can do is probably give an example later on, but your opinion should be built on a general overview of the matter. Okay, so these are some of the good language that you could use. Okay, you can have a look. You can take a photo if you want, snapshot or whatever, screenshot. Okay, let me make it. Okay, if you want, I can make it in 2 parts. Okay. Okay, we call these gambits. Okay, these are called gambits. To start off your sentence or your speech, you can just use these starters. Okay, now when you express your opinion using some of these, okay, and you'd like to add more information, you can use these. Obviously there are hundreds more, but these are some of the expressions that you could use. Okay, if you want to generalize about a certain topic, you can use those expressions. And when you get to the end of your of giving your opinion, you can use an example by saying, for example, for instance, in Lebanon, people usually recycle plastic only because there are not enough awareness or not enough outlets, recycling outlets, etc. Okay, so you give an example of your own actuality, okay, but that's towards the end, because in general you are talking about the environment around the world, not just about Lebanon or Jordan, etc. Okay, guys? Now, Bruno and everyone else, if, for example, the question was incomprehensible, or, for example, you didn't understand a word or something, you can use these techniques to ask for repetition. Remember, guys, you as candidates, you have the right, okay, to understand all the questions and to have access to all the questions. Okay, so if there is any question that you weren't able to understand or to hear properly, always ask for either repetition or clarification. Okay? So these are some of the common expressions that you could use. Now, before the 7 minutes are up, guys, okay, I'd like to ask you very quickly, those from Jordan, please raise your hand or shout out that you are from Jordan. Shireen?
I'm from Jordan.
Okay.
Me too.
Okay. Anybody else? Sana? Okay.
I'm not from Jordan, but I live there.
Okay, so you are in Jordan at the moment?
Yeah.
Okay, so I just need for the British Council, those who are from Jordan, attending from Jordan. Sorry.
Yeah.
Anyone
I'm
else? Ahmad, Rana, Nada, Sana. Okay, People from Lebanon, guys. So I presume that the others are from Lebanon. Is that correct? Okay.
I am from Lebanon.
Okay, perfect.
Me too.
Okay, Nada.
Leia.
Okay.
Nada too also.
Nada, okay, and Bruno. Okay, I didn't get an answer from Rana and Ahmed and Basma. It's okay. Feel free to do it in the chat if you want to do it privately. Okay, guys? Thank you for those who responded. Excellent. Okay, now moving along.
Just make me feel human.
To some of the questions. Okay? Now remember, guys, part 3 is derived from part 2. So if you were asked about a party you went on, part 3 could be about people's activities or people's habits in general, etc. Or about society itself in general, okay? If you were asked about a book you've read in part 2, okay? Part 3 could be about books in general or libraries or technology or how technology has affected book reading, etc. Okay? Now, let's have a look here.
Your intensity will be matched as we try to save you and everyone that we know.
I'm going to choose randomly again someone I'm going to use Leia.
Yes.
Okay, Leia.
You are caller number 5, but it's okay because
so let's assume, Leia, that you've talked about a hobby that you practice in your free time. That was in part 2. So now I move to part 3 as an examiner, and I'd like to ask you, or I'd like to talk about free time more generally, Leia. How do people generally spend their free time in Lebanon or in your country?
How do people spend free time in my country?
Their free time in Lebanon?
Well, I would like to tell you more about the free time in Lebanon. It depends on the location of the people. People in Beirut don't have, for instance, forests to go for a walk or a river or anything like that. So maybe they go to Raushe in their free time to have a walk or to breathe a fresh air. However, for example, in the mountain where I live, there is plenty of nice views in forests and
Thank you, Leia. Has this changed much in the last 10 years?
Yes, for sure. It changed a lot these 10 to 12 months, because due to COVID-19, now people do not have any choice. They have only one alternative, which is going in the nature. They cannot go visit their friends. They cannot
Thank you, Leia. Thank you. How do you think it will change in the future?
Well, I think that even after COVID, life won't be like before. I think that people now would love, because they tasted the beauty of walking and having walks on
عزيزي المتصل، للغة العربية اضغط على رقم 1. للغة الإنجليزية رجاء الضغط على رقم 2. لخدمتكم أفضل سيتم تسجيل هذه المكالمة. إن كنتم تريدون المص الرجاء الضغط على رقم 1. إن كنتم تريدون الياكة الرجاء الضغط على رقم 2. إن كنتم تريدون النظر فقط الرجاء الضغط على رقم 3. تم اختيار أنياك. إن كنتم تحبون وضعية الكلب اضغطوا على رقم 1. إن كنتم تريدون المشاهدة فتاة في الغسالة الرجاء الضغط على رقم 2. إن كنتم تريدون المص على الغسالة الرجاء الضغط على رقم 3. إن كنتم تريدون النيك على البلكونة الرجاء الضغط على رقم 4. عزيزي المتصل، سيتم تحويلك إلى عامل الهاتف، ولخدمتك أفضل سيتم تسجيل هذه المكالمة.
No. What people actually do, or what individual like to do, so try and use synonyms to the keywords in the question. Free time, what could be used instead of free time?
Leisure.
Leisure, spare time, activities. Okay, so try and pick the keywords and change them. Guys, if this ends, I'm gonna come back again just to give you last few tips and say goodbye until tomorrow, okay? So come back everyone, 1/3 time.
عزيزي المتصل، للغة العربية اضغط على رقم 1. للغة الإنجليزية الرجاء الضغط على رقم 2. لخدمتكم أفضل.
Okay guys, I'll just wait for a couple more people. Okay guys, so as I was saying, try and avoid repeating the question as is. Try and paraphrase it, okay? I like, Leia, the fact that you said I think, okay? So here you are giving your opinion, and you also gave an example, for instance, and you gave an example about yourself, but your answer wasn't personalized. You talked in general about other people's activities or preferences, and then you gave your an example about yourself, okay? Now, Leia, try and connect your speech a little bit more, okay? Little bit more, okay? So there were little mini pauses. Overall, it was a really good performance, but try connect a little bit more. You used some connectors, you said but, you said however, you said also as well, but try and, when you're talking, in your fluency, not in your also connectors, okay? So try and just keep everything flowing together smoothly like water, okay?
Okay.
Okay, guys, I'm gonna pick one more person. Ahmed, would you like to have a go? No? Hala.
Yes.
Okay, Hala. So, we've talked about, in part 2, for example, about a meal that you had, that you liked and enjoyed, or a dish, or I don't know, something. Okay, so something that you ate and liked. And from there on, we move to part 3. And now I'd like to talk about healthy lifestyles more generally, Hannah.
Okay.
What do people do in your country to have a healthier lifestyle?
Well, I think in Jordan, most of people are now become much more educated about the healthy lifestyle and how they can get more attention for what they are eating and what's the sources of this eating. And there is also much more movements, Jordanian movements, who are trying to encourage more people and educate them about what's the healthy food and how important of this food for their health.
Can you give me an example, Hala?
Example for what? For
healthy eating.
Yeah. Actually, lately, I think that it's become looking for an organic and sustainable food sources are much more popular here in Jordan. That's why we found more than one sources that providing the sustainable food.
Thank you, Hala. Thank you, Hala. What are the changes in lifestyle do you think will take place in Jordan?
Well, I think actually, in my opinion, after COVID-19 especially, and this pandemic, I think people are now much more interested with doing some sports and beside of healthy eating and giving much more attention for this, because most of people, I think they invest their time during this period just to looking for to improve their health and to give it much more attention.
Thank you, Hala. Do you think that the emphasis on having a healthy lifestyle is really helpful?
Yes, I think so, because most of people who have good health, they doing much more. It's a hard question.
It is. Okay, so you've talked, hang on. So you've talked about the government or awareness campaigns or people being more aware, okay? So how is that affecting the population in Jordan? So that's the question, more or less.
Now, as for the other hand, the figure is one in your place by
these I think these movements and all these potential awarenesses that government present to people are helping Jordanians to be much more healthier, which will help also the health system here in Jordan and improve it, because we will find much more healthier people than.
Thank you, Hala. Thank you, Hala. Okay, overall, it was a very good delivery. You have good lexes, Hala. Okay, I like the fact that you used "in my opinion." You gave your opinion and your perspective on the matter. You used good tenses, but at some stage you sort of lapsed. Okay, so pay attention. Stay consistent in your tense. Okay, so if you're talking about the future, use the simple future: will, are going to, etc. Okay, and if you're talking about the past, about how people were in the past or how they acted in the past towards their health, okay, keep the past, keep it simple, don't worry. Okay, but overall it's good. I mean, it was a difficult question, Hala. Thank you for answering that.
Thank you.
Okay, but overall it's really good. Okay, one more. Sana, would you like to have a go?
Yes, but I need to. My language is really poor.
Please, Sana, we're not looking at language. We're looking at overall performance. Okay, don't worry about mistakes. People always make mistakes. It's not about that. It's about giving you a perspective about how part 3 goes, okay? Don't worry about it, okay? We're not judging here. I'm giving you feedback so everybody could benefit from that, all right?
Okay.
Okay, so for example, Sana, in part 2, I gave you a topic about a trip you had and you enjoyed, okay? So from part 2, I moved to part 3. And now, Sana, I'd like to talk about travel more generally. Okay?
Okay.
Do people in your country travel outside their country more than they used to?
No, they didn't. Because of COVID-19, now traveling is having some sequences and a difficult part to do, like the PCR and other like visas and other things.
Thank you, Sana. That was a very good answer. Okay. Now, what are the advantages to people of visiting different countries?
I think they get to know other countries as their food, their languages, their type of life. There are many things to learn when you travel.
What are the disadvantages, Sana?
I think it's
okay, so Sana, you don't think there are... Okay, so there are no disadvantages. Say it. Give your opinion. I don't think there are any disadvantages. Be honest about it. Go on.
Okay, I don't think there is disadvantage of traveling. It makes people happy and spending great time with others.
Excellent, very good, Sana. Okay, do you think it is socially responsible for people to fly to go on holiday?
Sorry, I didn't catch that. Can you repeat?
Okay, do you think it is socially and environmentally acceptable for people to travel by plane when they go on holiday?
Yes, I think that because now in the 20th century, everybody is traveling by plane. But I think past century or years ago, it was very difficult and not safe to fly by plane.
Thank you, Sana. Excellent, very good. Okay, now, Sana, overall you did well and you gave your opinion by saying, I think, a couple of times, which is good. Type of life, did you mean lifestyle?
What?
When you said when people travel, they experience types of life. Did you mean lifestyle?
Yes, lifestyle.
Okay, so which one is better, Sana? Lifestyle, obviously, okay? So
sure,
think of your terms, think of your lexical resources, okay? You said also you used some complex tenses. You said is having, okay? So use the present continuous, which is a good tense. Okay, guys. I would love to have a go with every single one and try part 3 with you, but unfortunately, it's 30 minutes past our session. I hope this was useful. Okay, guys, if you have any questions, get them ready for tomorrow before we start the writing. Okay, guys?
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Most welcome. Guys, you are most welcome. You're going to be divided into academic and general training tomorrow, okay? So you're going to have different sessions. You will receive invitations accordingly, okay?
Thank you.
You are most welcome.
Okay, thank you.
Have a great evening.
Have a nice evening.
You too. Bye, everyone. Bye-bye. You're welcome. Bye. Bye.